This is the new Skoda Slavia, and as you can tell, it's a facelift. But like its sibling, the Kushaq, there's some new features added inside and some technical changes under the hood. So let's get straight to it. So as with most facelifts, the hard parts or the metal bits are the same, so it's the same bonnet here, but the softer parts, the plastics are changed. So as you can see, the bumper here, it gets a new design. There's a new pattern inside in this area, the air inlet area. The grille, it's still the vertical slats, but slightly reprofiled and trim bits added here. And then these little bits here, Skoda says it's a carbon fiber finish, but frankly, it's not really carbon fiber, but it kind of mimics that to a slight extent. It's just a few sort of raised bars here onto this black plastic. So kind of looks like carbon fiber. This finish, of course, is also there inside here in the headlights here. Now, the headlights, the outer shape remains the same, but this DRL was a continuous bar earlier. It's now segmented. In fact, I quite like it. Looks pretty cool, segmented rather than that continuous beam. And then, of course, you've got that same treatment inside here in the area as well. The lined bar, as I could call it, or carbon fiber as Skoda calls it. But yeah, so that's as far as the front end goes. Let me take you over to the side. Now, at the side, nothing much has changed. In fact, nothing has changed other than the alloys. The pattern, the style is different. The size, of course, remains the same. It is a 16-inch rim. So that's as far as the alloys go. And ground clearance, that is really large. Now, that was one of the high points of the Skoda Slavia, the sedan, that gave you 179 mm of unladen ground clearance, and that stays the same. So it's really quite high. Does look quite lifted in the sense that takes away slightly from the sporty bit, but it is extremely practical given our road conditions. So let's head over to the rear because there are just a few more changes now. At the rear, everything stays the same, so the shape of the taillight unit stays the same. But if you can come in here and check inside, I don't know if you'll pick that up on the camera, but you'll see there's that same sort of treatment inside here in the lights. So it looks slightly different, gives it a slightly more, I would say, premium look with all of these multifaceted sort of angles in there. But you'll only be able to pick that up when you're close to the car. What you will see from afar is this. You've got that same, as again, Skoda calls it carbon fiber, but that same treatment, the line treatment across with the Skoda lettering onto it. Earlier, the Skoda lettering was up here. And of course, then down below the bumper, this inner portion is slightly different. So that's about it. Really, changes, like I was saying, very minimal. More to the soft parts rather than to any of the sheet metal. But the front, I quite like the headlight treatment. What do you think? Let us know, of course, in the comments. Okay, so let's get into the space inside and might as well start right here. 521-liter boot. So as you can see, nice and wide and broad. And then down here below, you've got a space saver spare. And this bit is a subwoofer. So inside here at the rear, things remain the same, but there is one very important update which we saw on the Kushaq, and that's here too, and that is rear seat massagers. So honestly, for me, in a sedan which tends to be more chauffeur driven, I think this makes much more sense having the seat massagers on the rear seats. In the Kushaq, by Skoda's own admission, and we know industry standards too, SUV customers tend to be more self-driven. So I would have liked to see the seat massagers on the driver's seat in the Kushaq. But here in the sedan, yeah, I think this is quite cool. The massagers themselves, they don't have any different patterns and things like that like you have in higher end cars. Having said that though, having a massager at this segment itself is a big deal. So yeah, right now it's quite intense. You can feel it. It's not a very gentle kind of thing that you could just say is sort of inconsequential. I'm sure those of you who like to have a good back rub or a massage might enjoy this. In fact, you can see that happening right here. Okay, now one of the other additions to the features inside the car is right here in front of me, and that is the instrument panel. The earlier one was a digital unit, but it was a smaller one. This one is a much wider one, goes right across the screen, and looks really pretty cool. In fact, looks very much similar to the virtual cockpit that we would see in the Audi. Remember, also a group company. So it has a much wider display. Resolution too is higher, and you can get your navigation, also your route guidance, up in the center screen here as well. So that's new, and that's something nice to see. You also have a dial display, so that's something I really like, because very often people do this digital screens and then, you know, just forget about dials and you have these crazy graphics and things like that. Skoda has a digital layout, but they also have dials as well. The other bit that's new is the touchscreen. Now the size remains the same, but what they have done is the entire UI has been changed, and there's also an eSIM on board. So you can have an app on your phone, not for the full connected car experience though, but for a few sort of functions like diagnostic bits in terms of knowing your battery status and health of the car and things like that. Right, so that's new, and in terms of the UI, I have to say it does look quite nice. In fact, really nice, as you can see here, large icons, so easy to get at, rather than smaller little icons that you have to struggle at with while you're on the move. And then another big feature addition is the 360-degree camera. So you've got 3D view as well. Pretty handy to have and see. Right now the resolution seems okay, but we'll know more outside where, you know, lighting conditions vary, especially in dim lights and things like that. Before you ask, there's still no ADAS option on the Slavia. And then, of course, in terms of other features, you've got 6 airbags standard. You've got powered seats, both for the driver and the passenger. And you've got, of course, buttons down here for ventilated seats, which is on the front. You also have climate control. Climate control, yes, it is still those sliders. I would have liked if Skoda with the update moved to buttons and dials, but it is indented, so it makes things slightly easier. But yeah, that's what it is. And like the Kushaq, this one also gets the upgraded AC compressor. So AC cooling hopefully should have improved. And then, of course, on top here, you've got a sunroof. It is the smaller sunroof, so those of you who are big fans of the panoramic sunroof, yeah, might want that. But then this is still there. It's a sunroof here. So yeah, that's as far as the equipment goes. It's a nice addition, frankly, to the Slavia, especially with things like the 360-degree camera, this full digital IP here, and of course that absolutely segment unique rear seat massager. And there's also the Monte Carlo trim. So you've got the red accents here, checkered flag motif, an aero sort of lip spoiler or air curtain down here, blacked out alloys, red calipers on the front and on the rear. Of course, all 1.5s have dual disc brakes. The 1 liters have rear drums, but this one's painted because it's the Monte Carlo. And then on the rear, you've got this lip spoiler on top and some aero sort of stylistic treatment down on the bumper below. Inside, it's all black treatment from the headliner down to the floor, and there's less red than before. So it's only red stitching and piping around the seats. Frankly, to me, looks much nicer, a little more classy and still sporty. You've got this maroon finisher on top and red ambient lighting. So that's the changes on the Monte Carlo trim. Okay, so the big technical change with the Slavia is here under the hood. The 1 liter engine, the 115 horsepower unit, carries on, but it is now mated to an 8-speed automatic. The previous car was a 6-speed unit. So that is the change that we saw in the Kushaq, and expected it here as well. So yeah, it's right here. Now that's the 1 liter. You get the 1 liter with, of course, this automatic. You can also have it with the manual. And then you have the 1.5 liter, which is 150 horsepower. But that is only with a DSG automatic gearbox. It does not come with a manual. Now, I know a lot of people online keep saying, oh, we want the 1.5 with the manual for the enthusiast. Frankly, it used to be there on the car before. Skoda just didn't find any takers, and so it was discontinued and doesn't find its way into the new car either. So that then is the new Skoda Slavia. Prices, Skoda says, are only going to come out in October, but bookings are already open. So What do you think about the car? Let us know down in the comments. And of course, when you're there, make sure you subscribe to the Autocar India channel. Thank you for watching.